Hello, WIUR listeners. I'm John Thompson.
I'm Niko Talk.
Yeah, and this is our first ever radio show for WIUR. We're excited to be here. We're excited for any listeners that decide to join us today. And today we're just going to chat football. Week 2 recap, our favorite players, our favorite games, and a little Monday night football preview. I know we're both in a good mood as Giants fans, starting 2-0.
Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. It
Victory
feels good.
Monday.
It feels really good. The first
Feels
time
fantastic.
since 2016, Giants made the playoffs this year. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Talk playoffs yet.
Relax.
Playoffs. We're not
Relax.
there yet. But,
Easy schedule. Relax.
But the last time we did make the playoffs, we started 2-0. Sterling Shepard was on that team. He's providing a little bit of veteran leadership.
The
this
only
year.
player on that team that is still an active Giant.
And I think he's a great guy to be
Good
that
slot
veteran,
receiver.
You know, I think we got a lot of young wide receivers and all that stuff. But let's get into it.
All right,
Week
go.
2 recap. My favorite game of the week: Dolphins versus Ravens. Absolutely insane offensive game. Insane Dolphins comeback. I thought the Ravens had the game in the bag.
I remember starting the game up, watching it. They were like, it's going to be a fast-paced game. Obviously, you have the fastest player in the league. You got Lamar Jackson in there. You got Jalen Waddle, Tua. Fast game. Didn't think it was going to be this fast.
Fast game. So, final line for Tua. He went 36 for 50 passes, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Does this silence the Tua haters?
I don't think so.
You think they're still going to hate
I don't
him?
think so. I think I'm still hating.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting.
All right, 469 yards for him, right? All right, 6 touchdowns. Hill is almost 200 of those receiving yards and 2 of those touchdowns. Having the fastest person in the league.
No,
I don't know.
enough. Fair enough.
Because he wasn't throwing up these numbers last year.
I
get it. He got threats. It doesn't sell me yet. I got to consistently see it.
I was not sold on Tua. I might be sold on Tua now. I might be. This week might have changed my take on Tua. My biggest thing against Tua going into his career and how last year kind of played out, I was never big on lefty quarterbacks. The last lefty quarterback in the league before Tua was Kellen Moore. He's now the Cowboys offensive coordinator. And he was great at Boise State, didn't really make much noise in the NFL. He kind of reminded me of Tua, one of those legendary college guys.
There's a lot of lefty quarterbacks who have these special they could sling the ball. There's no doubt Tua can move around the pocket and sling the ball. Obviously, Michael Vick, blah blah blah. We'll go on and on. But the problem with Tua for me is the same with Kyler Murray is the height. A quarter
coming at 6'1".
I think he's 6'1", 6 foot, okay. Possibly. Obviously, Kyler Murray's shorter, but I remember seeing a quote and seeing the post-game interview last week when I think they lost week 1.
No, Dolphins are 2-0.
Okay,
Dolphins
so they won.
2-0.
They won week 1, and I remember seeing it, and he was talking about how he's behind these 6'4", 6'5", whatever linemen. Yep. If his receivers can't see him, he can't see them. He can't see them. I think it's a little whiny.
Okay.
And that's why I'm not fully sold on him yet.
Fair enough.
If he comes out next 2 weeks, next 3
Fair
weeks,
enough. Yeah, we'll see how
puts it on the field.
We'll definitely see how the season
I agree.
Continues to unwind. But I like the Dolphins going into this game. I liked it from this perspective of, okay, you have the Ravens who have been on the right side of history the past couple of years. They've been making the playoffs. MVP Lamar haven't made it to the Super Bowl. I don't think they've been to a conference championship yet either. Maybe Lamar brought them to one, but
I think they've been to one.
They were one of those teams that's been making the playoffs consistently, right? They've known success since Lamar's been there. Dolphins, on the other hand, have been just on the brink of making the playoffs. That's why I liked them yesterday. I knew this game was going to be a test for both teams, and I was like, the Dolphins are fresh and exciting, and they have something to prove. The Ravens, I think they got a little content, a little comfortable with that lead, and ultimately it ultimately ended up with the Dolphins coming back, mounting an insane fourth quarter comeback, and winning the game.
How do you feel that Lamar's lost almost every single threat he's had? Hollywood's gone.
It's tough for him.
Hollywood's gone. Ingram's gone. Obviously, he's older a lot. But what were his receivers? Is Mark Andrews still on the Ravens?
It's really Andrews. Bateman had a great game.
They got a couple good players who are showing up for them, which is good for his passing game as well. But
it is a lot. I think it could affect it. It's more on his shoulders than it ever was before. And What upsets me about
I
that too
agree.
is the Ravens, they couldn't come to a contract agreement. And you threw him out there this year with a team, maybe the most untalented team he's had to this point in his career, and you didn't pay the man. You're asking a lot from him. Let's get back to that point that you made. So I had Bateman 4 receptions for 108 yards and a touchdown. That's a good line. I'd like to see a little more.
That's a great line from someone who's coming out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's a great line coming out. You know, like you had Andrews, who had 9 receptions for 104 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He's a veteran at this point. That's his main guy. He's a veteran at this point. He knows he knows how Lamar's going to throw. He knows his timing, everything like that. Bateman coming out and putting up on less receptions and a little bit more yards with a touchdown. I think that's big for him.
Yeah, that's a great point. We'll see how Bateman continues to do this season, but he could be that number 2 guy in Baltimore that the Ravens really need.
I agree.
Yeah, you mentioned Hill, 11 receptions, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's just an insane stat line.
This is what happens when you trade for the best, or what, did they trade or did they pick when they trade for the best and fastest, maybe not best Cooper Kupp, whatever, we'll have that conversation, but the fastest receiver, you put him on a slant route, he's gone in 60 yards, done. That's it.
He really was electric yesterday.
Game.
Jalen Waddle, 11 catches for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let me ask you this, Niko. Is there a defense or a cornerback duo that's slowing down the Miami Dolphins offense after what you've seen from 2 weeks of them?
I have 2.
2 defenses.
I have 2 defenses.
That you like.
The Rams.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey, best corner probably in the league.
Fair enough. I can agree with
the
that.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers defense looked amazing yesterday.
Buccaneers.
We'll get to them a little later
they were
show,
playing. We'll get. Well, I don't want to.
The
We're not
Buccaneers
going to argue
defense
now.
has looked really special. If you ask me, man, it's going to be really tough to slow down this offense. I think the running game wasn't all there yesterday for the Dolphins. If they can figure out what exactly they want to do with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, this offense is really going to be unstoppable. I mean, the pairing of Waddle and Hill,
Waddle and Hill are probably it. I don't want to throw shade on Tua. If it was more a more competent wide receiver than that, competent quarterback than him, I think Hill and Waddle could go deep in the postseason. But I'm not sold on him.
Okay.
Waddle and Hill, I have is probably the best wide receiver duo in the league.
I like it. Thrown out there.
Dolphins
duo, the best in the league.
Probably the best in the league.
Let's move on to another game that I liked, and a little bit of bias on this one.
Did we like it though?
But we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it as New York fans and on a New York radio right now. Giants over the Panthers, 19-16. Not a crazy offensive game, but the Giants defense looked good again. Daniel Jones, no turnovers.
This team with Brian Dable is different.
I'm literally smiling.
Different.
Look, the camera showed. I'm smiling ear to ear right now.
It's different.
2-0. It feels so good. I had Daniel Jones, 22 of 34 for 176 yards and 1 touchdown. So nothing really crazy there. Nothing really jumps off the page at me. Daniel Jones' performance. He was able to manage the game, like you mentioned earlier, and just come up with a big third down when we needed it and a couple big drives when we needed it. But nothing really special yet from Daniel Jones in this offense.
There was a rough, obviously, first two Panthers possessions come away with the fumble for the Giants, which was electrifying. Both of those drives end in a field goal.
You need touchdowns to win.
You need touchdowns to win football games, and with a better team, you lose this game. 100%. Playing a better team, you lose this game. He didn't throw interceptions. He didn't fumble the football.
Huge.
He got time in the pocket.
Huge.
But I know one thing we talked about earlier. He cannot move through a pocket. He doesn't know how to move through a pocket.
Still, my biggest gripe with Daniel Jones is his pocket awareness.
He has no idea where people are around him. He has no idea how to move when he's getting pressure. Mm-hmm. It's chaos. Chaos.
For the longest time, I said, Daniel Jones has had a new coach every year he's been in the league. Weak offensive lines, this and that. I've made every excuse for this guy. But it comes to a point where it's like, DJ, you got to watch some film or get a trainer and just work on your pocket awareness, stepping up, moving side to side. It feels like the sacks that he's just one step away from stepping up or stepping out and getting more time or a lane to run.
It's the way we talked about it. It's the way you slip. It's the way you could slip through a pocket. If you got your left guard, whatever, they're pushing right, you could slip forward. If he's coming behind you, slip forward. I see him, that guard's coming around, and he's not slipping. He's running. He's abandoning the pocket in whatever, because he's not used to having protection.
Yep.
If he slips in the pocket, he has more time.
100%. So definitely, I'm not going to complain about a 2-0 start, but one thing we'd like to see, both of us, from Daniel Jones, a little more pocket awareness. Saquon, nothing too crazy yesterday. The Panthers did a good job of keeping him corralled. I would have liked to see some more outside zone runs. You know, the Browns had a huge game running against the Panthers week 1, and it looked like something that was definitely a focus for the Panthers coming into this game. They box heavy, always a safety wherever Saquon's going. So that was smart on them. Saquon finished 21 carries for 72 yards with a 3.4 average.
Yeah,
nothing really pops off the page again.
Week one, I think he finished with 8 yards a carry.
Over 9.
Over 9, not 9.4, I think it was, or something like that. That's a They were shutting him down fast.
Yeah.
The Panthers, which they do have a good line.
Derrick Brown had a good game.
They have a great defensive line. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking that away.
Burns, yeah.
They did a good job against another good defensive line last week with the Titans. This week, it wasn't so great.
Okay.
But they were able to get it. They were able to get it beyond the 50 and get those field goals in. Which,
speaking of defensive line, something that I think all Giants fans have noticed is our defensive line has played very well the first 2 weeks without Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Those are obviously our two new studs that are coming into the defense, and they're both not here. I'm so excited to see them. I don't know when they're coming back.
It literally felt like yesterday, Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, great job up the middle, and the pressure was just 1 or 2 steps away. Xavier McKinney did a good job on some blitzes, but I really cannot wait until we have Kayvon on one side, Azeez on the other. I think our defensive line can be a top 5 unit in the league.
That's a bold statement. That's bold. Listen,
they held Derrick Henry.
We don't know. We don't know yet, though.
Fair enough.
I'm scared. Either way, they come back. I'm excited, but I'm scared because I don't want them to do bad.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure when I saw it yesterday, did Leonard
Williams did go down. He went off down the field. I'm waiting to see what that injury diagnosis is. But
I saw him go down. I saw it was his foot.
Yeah, see if there's a report out yet. Last I checked, there wasn't. It was like he walked off under his own power, though. Wasn't carted off, nothing crazy like that. But hopefully that's nothing serious because he is a big player for us on the inside. He's just a force of nature, and he moves bodies on the inside.
He is receiving an MRI today on his knee injury.
Okay, so hopefully nothing serious there. We'll keep our fingers crossed. McCaffrey finished 15 carries, 102 yards, 6.8 average. Really nothing crazy for him.
He got over the 100 mark,
which is... He broke one big run for 49 yards, but other than that, the Giants' D-line kept him corralled, and really he wasn't a huge factor in this game.
I think I'm very excited about the defensive run game. I'm very excited. Stopping not only Derrick Henry,
and then
but containing CMC is a big, and I mean huge, win for the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm very excited for what they're doing.
Martindale, our new defensive coordinator, great. Kudos to him for.
You see how he looks?
He's locked in.
He's
on the chain out. I love watching that guy.
It. It's great.
I love watching that guy. On
he just looks locked in.
Exciting.
He looks him and Dable. I love this. I love this.
People are probably getting tired of this.
I love this coaching staff.
Nico, this was your pick of the week, your favorite game. Why don't you take us into this one? You need to catch your breath for this one. This was an exciting game
because this was exciting. I am a Giant fan. I do love the Giants. I dislike the Jets, obviously.
Okay.
But this game was crazy.
It was insane.
I'm looking back I go down to grab a chip. I look back up.
Yeah, that's
7-point game. So let me go through this. The Jets. We'll go through the overall thing first, and then I'll get to the point where
because you were
obviously
very passionate. You were excited pre-show to talk.
Everyone's talking about this. All right, so Flacco, not a great game, but a great game in terms of touchdowns, not a great game in terms of completion percentage, but 26 for 44 with 4 touchdowns and his first game-winning drive since 2016. That's prime Flacco.
Love to hear it for
prime Flacco.
I thought he was done. I really thought last year he was going to wrap it up, but good for him for coming back, not giving up this game. His first game-winning drive since 2016.
And I believe that's his first win as a Jet. Am I wrong? Starting as a Jet? I think that's his first. I think he was 0-4 starting as a Jet.
Very possible.
Because of obviously all the injuries that Zach Wilson has, which is totally a different story for all the Jet fans who are who just are frustrated with him.
Good for Joe Flacco. I was always rooting for that guy. I thought he was very exciting to watch, that playoff run he had in Baltimore that led to that Super Bowl there. And I thought he was going to wrap it up. Good for him yesterday.
Good for him.
Pulling this young Jets unit together and getting that win.
I agree. Awesome. I agree. It was fire. But obviously on the Browns, Brissett was 22 for 27 with 230 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Okay. But that interception was garbage time.
Okay.
It was the last play of the game, and he just chucked it. Bad read from him, and that's his interception. So he didn't have a bad game. It wasn't him.
You can't ask for much more than that from Brissett.
No.
22 of 27, 230 yards. With the Browns wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he didn't have a catch yesterday. So I really feel like that's about all you can ask for from Jacoby Brissett.
The Browns did have they held Nick Chubb to 87 yards, but they didn't hold him on any touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns, and the Browns completely threw Nick Chubb and
have a day, Nick Chubb, yeah.
Nick Chubb have a day, 3 touchdowns, and Kareem Hunt. They rushed together for 184 yards.
Yeah, that's a two-headed
sword. Yeah, you can't. Really Jets only rush for 94 yards.
To rotate that fresh set of legs in for the Browns is just going to be a headache.
Kept moving the ball.
Headache for defensive coordinators all season.
They kept moving the ball. It's always a headache. I know that Nick Chubb is more rushing, and they have Kareem Hunt, receiving more times than not. But still, really, the Jets couldn't stop it. Yeah. But they did end up winning because the Browns' defense completely fell apart.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row after the 2-minute warning. 2 back-to-back touchdowns. We had a touchdown with, I think, 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
It might have been 1:22.
Minute 20 seconds left. Onside kick. Jets recover like 2 or 3 plays. Jets back of the end zone again. Take the lead by 1. Get that interception at the end. Win for their first win of the season. Jets go 1-1.
Good for Robert Saleh. Good for that whole organization.
I'm a big Robert Saleh fan.
Yeah, he is a good coach, and it's exciting for them to get this win. So, moving on. Those are 3 very exciting games this week. Look forward to it.
It was a good week for football. It was very boring in the middle of Sunday. I know you didn't watch all the games, but I was watching Red Zone, and it was very boring, kind of end of 1 o'clock games, beginning of 4 o'clock games. There wasn't really a lot going on. The end of the 4 o'clock games were exciting.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you my top 2 favorite fantasy players of the week. Little segment we do. We'll talk about our favorite fantasy players from Sunday. I know got 2 more games.
Did you win in fantasy this week?
No.
Okay.
I did not. I'm 0-2 in fantasy, but I just keep reminding myself of the Giants, and
it's fine. You make yourself happy.
Make myself feel a little better. My favorite player in fantasy this week, Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. There's a lot of talk about Devontae leaving Green Bay. What would Aaron Jones do with A.J. Dillon there? Kind of a lot of confusion. A lot of it was up in the air. Aaron Jones showed out yesterday. Aaron Jones, 15 carries for 132 yards, averaging 8.8 a carry, 1 touchdown. In the air, 3 catches for 38 yards and another touchdown. Have a day, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. Listen, it's hard when I wouldn't say he shares time, but A.J. Dillon is a more than a competent backup, 100%, and they do use him a lot. I know a lot of people who have him on their fantasy team, and they do use him a lot.
Yep.
And I think he got obviously, when you have Aaron Jones having 32 points, A.J. Dillon suffers on that back end. But 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown.
I like that. Can't ask for anything more than that. And that's not an easy Bears defense to have a game against. Roquan Smith always out there for 10 to 12 tackles a game. But I think I've heard Matt LaFleur say that Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are option 1A and 1B. He kind of views them as like they're both starting,
which is super smart. Aaron Jones is obviously top tier, and Dillon is a very competent quarter.
I like Dylan a lot. Too,
A lot of teams in the league could use Dylan as their number 1, 100%.
100%.
There's teams I could think of that don't have the Falcons.
Yep, there you go.
Cordell Patterson is not a running back.
It's more like a flex.
He's more like he put him in the slot.
Yeah,
he'll catch a ball. I don't think he's a good running back.
But yeah, no, and they both do it like very humbly. You never hear any. The Browns had we were just talking about the Browns and their two-headed snake coming out of the backfield. There was a little drama. Kareem Hunt said, "I want to get out of there. I could be a starter on another team." Packers, I don't hear any.
He's also not a great man.
He's had his problems in the past, but we're not here to talk about.
No, yeah, he's also like.
But you never hear any complaining coming out of Green Bay. They both admire each other. They both know they have their strengths, and they're just like, "Hey, let's go at it together and let's just crush it."
People love playing in Green Bay, which is why I'm so shocked about the Devontae Adams thing that he went to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers, he has some controversy, but his teammates love him.
Yep.
Jordy Nelson, obviously one of his great teammates, who's not there anymore.
They come back to Green Bay.
They come back.
They want to play with Aaron Rodgers again. Yeah, they love the fans there. They love that.
And LaFleur's a good head coach.
LaFleur's a good head coach.
He's a good head coach, and always count on them to beat the Bears.
Oh, he's counting on them to beat the Bears. We know our professor, second class today, was very happy. He walked in on a smile. Definitely.
We got laughs over there.
We pointed out, we bet before class that professor wouldn't give us any homework due Wednesday because the Packers won, and we were right.
We got no homework
because he was in a good mood. The Packers got a win.
Packers won.
Moving on, Nico, you have two very exciting.
You didn't do your second one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want to do mine first one and then we go our seconds?
Yes, I like that.
All right, we'll do that.
Give me your top guy, your favorite fantasy player from this week.
My fantasy pride and joy got me my win this week. It's not over yet, but I'm pretty much in the lead. Amon-Ra St. Brown with 39 points, 9 receptions, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 carries for 68 yards.
I didn't even know they were giving this guy carries.
Is there any more you want from him?
That is this guy. What was he? He was a second-round pick.
I'm sitting there with a smile. I think so. I'm sitting there with a smile on my face, watching him rack up point after point. And every time I'm loving it. I love him. His brother is also very good.
Yep.
But 39 points. I think week 1 I don't know. I forgot how much he had for week 1, but 39 points this week is huge, and that's why he's my number 1 pick because he's on my team.
He had a great game. He looked electric. He made this Lions offense look electric. Team had a lot of question marks coming into this season, and he looks like a veteran wide receiver. Like
they're hard knocks back.
Yeah.
The Lions, count them, big win over the.
I love that pick. That's an awesome pick.
Look out for them beating the Commanders. Commanders are a trash team, but my next pick, I'll explain why.
Fair enough. My second one, I'm throwing a little bit of a curveball in here. Not a player, but a defensive unit as my second favorite fantasy player of the week. I got the Tampa Bay defense. When the Tampa Bay offense looked a little shaky this week, Tom Brady. I believe this is Tom Brady's. It is actually Tom Brady's first regular season win against the Saints. He had not had a win during the regular season against Sean Payton.
And he was frustrated.
We saw he broke another tablet.
He broke a tablet.
That's
what he does in the dome. He breaks tablets.
That offense looked shut down. You saw Mike Evans. They were getting frustrated. There was a fight. There's suspensions being handed out.
Mike Evans 1 week suspension next game against the Packers because of his. I remember I saw the clip of him running up
full speed,
decking the guy,
decking Marshawn
Lattimore. And the ref. I think someone read the lips and kind of like translated it, but was like, the ref said, "Why'd you do it?" or like was asking for a reason. And he was like, "That's Tom Brady. What else do you want? You got to defend him."
Which I kind of love that attitude. But then again, Mike, a lot of injuries already in Tampa Bay. We need you out there catching passes, dude.
There's no one else. But I'm gonna say something about your pick. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan of the pick.
Game. Let me finish.
Listen,
let me throw some
go. Keep on.
Let me throw some stats.
Give me the stats and then I'll say
10 points allowed, 3 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, 6 sacks, and a touchdown. That is total dominance. They made Jameis and the Saints look absolutely lost out there.
Say that name again.
Jameis Winston.
Who are they playing?
They're playing the Saints, the 1-0 Saints.
The Jameis Winston-led Saints. Jameis Winston is garbage. He's garbage.
I'm not.
It's the truth. He's garbage.
If you say so. I have a little bit of faith left in
when
James.
he was leading the league in touchdowns. He was also leading the league. Well, obviously for the Buccaneers, leading the league in touchdowns.
Led the league in yards that year.
Led the league in yards. Led the league in interceptions. And then he got dropped.
Yeah.
He's trash.
6 sacks. I mean, that's a New Orleans team that has been.
Name someone on the Saints besides Michael Thomas.
Chris Olave.
I said Chris Olave.
Jarvis Landry. All right, no, but that's
Jarvis Landry. He got
You're not
booted
a big fan
from.
Of the pick?
No, I'm not. They had a good performance. Not a fan of who they played.
That's a defense though, giving you 25 points.
They were also the game was also, what was it, 3-3
for a long time. Yeah.
Till like the fourth.
Yeah. Bucks ended up winning 20-10, but it wasn't the most exciting game.
It was 3-3. How do you hold you like? I can't.
All right, he doesn't agree with my pick, my second pick of this, but that's why it's John's picks. We got another pick from Niko. Let's hear it.
My last pick, and this is it's kind of funny. I picked Amon-Ra from the Lions. Lions played the Commanders. I picked Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel.
Tell me why.
Tell you why?
Tell me why.
Curtis Samuel. If your league, I'm looking at the camera right now. If your league has Curtis Samuel still available for waiver, pick him up immediately.
Pick him up right now.
Pick him up right now.
Right now.
23 points. 23 points, and I believe his first game, he had like 15, and he's rostered in like 2% of all leagues on ESPN.
Carson Wentz have some early chemistry.
Obviously, he's got 7 receptions for 78 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 carry for 21 yards.
Solid stat line.
Solid. It's not too much, but it's enough to go under the radar where not a lot of people will pick him up.
Yeah.
But I picked him up.
Yep.
Because I think that he could be a good flex option.
Been bouncing around this league for where was Curtis? Was he with the Panthers?
Panthers.
So the Panthers. So
he was with the Panthers.
He hasn't really had a quarterback since what? Cam was he there for Cam Newton?
He was there for Cam Newton, I believe. He was also there for whatever Darnold. Before Darnold was Bridgewater was before. I don't know. He had some bad quarterbacks.
Bad quarterbacks. Not saying
Carson's trash.
Pro Bowl.
If Carson's going to throw to him, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
He can't throw to anyone.
I like that.
Carson can throw to nobody because he's terrible.
Good picks this week.
But if he throws to him, I'm okay with it.
Good picks this week.
I'm okay with it.
Good fantasy advice. All right, moving on. Our last.
We're gonna go to
the show, I believe. Right? Was there anything else?
Yeah, I think we're good. We could throw in. Yeah, let's do tonight's game. We got 2 back-to-back doubleheaders.
Really good Monday night games. We're a little spoiled. We got 2 football games tonight. Which one are you watching?
Both. But I'm flipping. I'm flipping between them.
Okay.
I'm putting more time on both games. I'm putting both on, but I'm gonna stray my attention more to the Bills and Titans.
Okay.
Because I like that matchup. Vikings and Eagles is it's gonna be a cool game to watch, but I'm gonna get sick of it.
I think that's the game I'm gonna watch just because if the Eagles lose tonight, Giants are first place NFC East.
Giants are first place anyways.
Yeah.
2-0. That's the best record. 2-0,
I know,
right
but
now.
to stand alone at the top would be awesome. I think it really. I hate to say it, but I think it is the Eagles' division to lose right now. Just looking at it on paper,
they're easily the best team right now.
Looking at it on paper, they have the best roster.
He gave me a thumbs up.
We got a thumbs up from our e-board member outside. He's a big Philly guy.
They're easily the best team. You could tell me maybe a healthy Cowboys team, but obviously right now they're not. Dak's out. Obviously they're not healthy right now, but the Eagles with Devontae Smith, who has to do something because I have him on my fantasy team. I have him on my fantasy team. He has to perform.
That's one of the big points I have.
All right, so you want to? We'll do my game first, and then we'll go to yours.
Let's hear your breakdown.
So I got Bills Titans. Obviously, the Bills are favored to win. Bills are favored to win the Super Bowl. But
by 10 points, yeah.
Bills are favored to win the Super Bowl this year, and I honestly think they could. Definitely. I really do. That they're easily the best team in the league.
They were a coin flip away from making it to the Super Bowl.
100%, and they would have
gotten
better. They might have won that game if they would have made it.
Yeah, definitely.
But
new overtime rules for sure.
Obviously,
whole nother episode.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that now. I'll get into a whole rant about the overtime, everything. So on the Bills, Stephon Diggs, obviously their best receiver, obviously, because Josh Allen and him have a connection, and they've been with each other. They've been developing a chemistry between them for the past couple of years. They've made it pretty far in playoffs. They're a great team. Stephon Diggs would. I remember it was the last year, or even 2 years, where he was leading the league in receptions. Another key for me is Josh Allen is a 10 times better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. 100%. Tannehill's. 100%. I keep saying this, and I don't mean to sound like degrading to other teams. Tannehill's a terrible quarterback. He's got an arm, sure.
There were glimpses, but as the years go on, I think there were glimpses at the very beginning of his time in Tennessee that we were like, wow, this guy, he might have had a Pro Bowl one of those years, but the past 2 years, it's been like Derrick Henry control the game. Can Ryan Tannehill not mess it up, right? That's what it feels like.
This is one of my keys after that is his lack of skill. It's not – he's a boring quarterback. He's not a Mahomes. He's not a Murray. He's not a Jackson. He's not a Herbert who has just Herbert's a dog. But he's not any of these. He's closer to a Kirk Cousins.
Fair enough.
He's probably the closest thing to Kirk Cousins in the league.
I even put Kirk above him. I think Kirk.
That's bold.
Just a little bit
That's
more.
bold because Kirk's one of the most up and down.
Watching Ryan Tannehill against the Giants last week, he put together a good drive at the end of the game that should have set up the game-winning field goal. Ryan Bullock couldn't get it done, but he really just wasn't hitting on a lot of big plays, couple inaccurate passes, and when
he had a good pass at the end.
When Derrick Henry couldn't get it going, when he was bottled up, they turned to Ryan Tannehill, and he just couldn't get it done.
No. I said his lack of skill outside of the pocket.
Yep.
Because he's not obviously there's a more movable or what's the word? Mobile quarterbacks in the league. He's not one of them. He's not a skillful quarterback. He probably has a good arm. He could probably read defenses pretty well, but that's boring to me. So
it's not the style that you like.
No,
fair enough. Yeah,
he's a boring quarterback. Josh Allen is
Ryan
significantly better.
Definitely trending down.
I agree. I think they go with a new quarterback in the coming seasons. I think with the addition of Von Miller, they shut down Derrick Henry. If the Giants can do it, the Bills' amazing D-line could do it with Von Miller, obviously one of the best players in the league.
I'm excited to see because Derrick Henry, 82 yards last week. That guy is insane, and he looked fit. He just couldn't get it going. Let's see. That's a big storyline to follow into this week. Derrick Henry, is he going to bounce back? Or
I hope so. He's also on my fantasy team.
Yeah, the Bills can shut down Derrick Henry 2 weeks in a row. We're looking at an NFL that's okay, there are ways to stop this guy now, and defenses are starting to figure it out.
And if they figure it out, it's over. He's a big guy. He's fast. He's a tank.
A lot of eyes are going to be on this guy. I can see a lot of eyes around the league on this game.
It's not hard to miss him.
Yeah. Let's see.
He could be picked up.
We'll see. I liked one thing I'll add back to the Giants-Titans week 1. Tate Crowder laid a great hit on Derrick Henry.
He knocked him down. he knocked him.
He put the shoulder into Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And
he put the shoulder and he went down.
Guys brave enough to do, really. Guys bounce off of Derrick Henry. They get that stiff arm.
He did a great job. That was a hit, and I stood up immediately.
It's you gotta get tough, and you gotta lower your shoulder on this guy and put a good legal hit on him. And it's okay, now I gotta get lower. Now I can't have that stand up stiff arm that I usually go to. So great.
It also helps that he was jumping at that point. Yeah. He was in the air. He
was off his feet.
He was off his feet, which is, if he lifted him off the ground, I would have.
Yeah,
I would have freaked out.
Tate Crowder Pro Bowler,
but it's still whatever. And my last point for the Bills is that the Bills secondary is going to completely shut down Robert Woods, Treylon Burks. They're going to shut him down. They're no match.
Disappointing. Robert Woods didn't really do much last week. I know he's coming back from the ACL, but he just didn't look.
He's coming back from the ACL, and he kind of was on the downhill in Los Angeles, anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got the I got the Bills. I got the Bills completely handling the Titans. If it's a close game, that'll be fun, but I don't think it will be. What about your pick for tonight?
Storylines to follow tonight. I got Vikings versus Eagles, an exciting game. 2 1-0 teams. I got the Vikings winning this one. I liked what I saw last week from Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook went for 90 yards on the ground last week. Justin Jefferson went absolutely ballistic last week against a good Green Bay defense. I think that connection is only going to get better this week. I think we're going to see Dalvin a little bit more involved, but I like the Vikings winning this one. Eagles too. I mean, their offense looks very dynamic, very sharp. A.J. Brown in his first game with the Eagles goes off for over 150 yards. Didn't see much from Devontae.
See, I keep talking about this. It seems like I have everyone on my fantasy team, but I also have him on my fantasy team. I have 3 fantasy teams.
Okay.
He's on my fantasy team as well. I hope everyone's listening out there who's an Eagles fan. If he doesn't step up, I'm gonna be tight. I'm gonna be tight because I put a lot of trust in him. To he's my flex. You can't be going out there not having a catch.
Yeah.
He had 11 targets, 0 catches.
Wow, that is bad.
How do you do that? It looks like he looks like Kenny Galladay out there. He's Kenny Galladay.
Get me started on Kenny Galladay. I think if Devontae Smith, I wrote in my notes, if Devontae Smith can be a factor, the Eagles have a much better chance. I think the Vikings defense is going to key on A.J. Brown. He's a big-bodied receiver. You double cover him, give him some give him some cushion. Don't let him burn you. And then if he catches it short in the box, bring that linebacker over on him, shut him down early. If they key on him like that, watch out for Jalen Hurts to look for Devontae, look for Goddard, look for those other options, Miles Sanders, and this could be a close
Boston
game.
Boston
Scott. I mean, only
Minnie Mouse.
Giants will
Minnie Mouse.
Boston Scott go off.
I love Minnie Mouse. That's because I'm bigger than him.
Vikings defense, I'm not too knowledgeable on. I know they're a put together unit. They're a strong unit, but we'll see how they do. I do have in my notes, I think they need to contain Jalen Hurts. Keep him in the pocket. Win on third down. Don't let him sneak out and scramble because he's very nifty. I saw him break some ankles last week that I was like, this guy's a quarterback and he moves like that. It was sharp. So third down, big for the Vikings. Keep him in the pocket. Win on third down. Key in on A.J. Brown. I think the Vikings win this game 28-17.
I was good. I was actually just going to ask you about the score. 28-17.
28-17. I think the Vikings maybe throw one more. I think it's a close game, and I think the Vikings.
Is that the analytical side of you, or is that the Giant fan side of you?
No, that's me being unbiased. I do like the Vikings. I think a big win over Green Bay last week. They're rolling.
Can I put something in your head?
Put one more, because I got one more note here I want to say. Put it in my head. Let me hear it.
Primetime Kirk Cousins.
That's right.
Is one of the worst.
Oh my goodness.
Ever.
Has he won a Monday night game before? I think he's won one.
I've never watched a game. I used to be a very firm believer in Adam Thielen because I really liked him, and I would sit him on my fantasy teams
on
primetime.
Wow.
They're terrible.
Yeah, that is tough. I totally forgot.
And it's not even like they're the earlier game. Are they the earlier game or the later game?
I think they're 5-minute difference.
No,
or like half an hour difference.
Half an hour difference. Yeah. All right, so I guess it doesn't matter, but they're still prime time.
Still prime time. My last point that I want to share for you, though, the Eagles' defense let up 35 points to the Lions last week. The Lions' offense looked good. I know your pick was Amon-Ra, but I don't know. We'll see.
The Lions are back. I gotta see a little Don't underestimate the Lions.
I got to see a little more from that Eagles D-line tonight. We'll see how Dalvin Cook does against him. But my one thing with Kirk, too, is he's a roller coaster type of player. His highs are very high and his lows are very low. Coming off a win against an NFC North divisional rival like the Packers, I think he carries it over. It's at the Link. Tough place to play on the road. It's still warm, though. Still warm at the Link. It's not too. It's not like going there.
It's not too cold. It's not going
there in December.
You're a prime time right now. September's a prime time.
That's a tough. It's tough to go to the Link in November, December, January, and get it done.
Can I read this to the people whoever's listening out there? Can I read?
3 viewers.
Three viewers. What's up?
Viewers.
Can I read your last note? Because I'm fuming from it. Fuming. If Devonta Smith can be a factor for the Eagles, they can win this game.
I touched on that.
That's a big if.
It is. It's a big if.
That's a big if.
But Devontae showed some flashes last year. We know he has that chemistry from Alabama with Jalen.
He's great. I think he's a great wide receiver. congratulations to every Eagles fan who has him. You have him every week. But if he has a showing like he did last week, I'm gonna be mad.
You'll be mad when I see you in Italian class tomorrow. You're gonna be
it's gonna be a problem.
All right.
It's gonna be a problem. I hope he does great. Obviously, I want to win in fantasy, but I don't know.
That's all I got.
Isaiah McKenzie might start over him in fantasy, depending on how I feel in the next 2 hours.
If you're out there listening, send a chat in the YouTube. Devontae Smith, Isaiah McKenzie.
Pick my fantasy flex for this week.
Pick Niko's flex this week.
I don't think anyone's gonna answer.
It could be my mom and my dad.
What's up, guys?
What's up? If that's who's listening.
Hi.
Max Moulton. We got a comment.
Who's that?
Amon Ra.
You know that?
Yeah, I know that.
He said Amon Ra.
Shout out for listening, bro. Thank you.
Dude, that wasn't one of the choices.
That wasn't one of the choices, though.
Isaiah McKenzie.
Amon Ra guy. He did start Amon Ra. Shout out Max. He texted me yesterday and asked Amon Ra or Mike Evans. I don't really know how that was a decision factoring in. I said Mike Evans.
That was Mike Evans.
He didn't listen to me, started Amon Ra, and had a day. And I said, good for you,
Listen,
Max.
it's Mike Evans. I'm glad you even have that. You have the team where you can choose that because that's a hard choice to make. But I need an answer. Devontae Smith.
Who was the other option?
Isaiah McKenzie. Is that his first name? I think his name's Isaiah McKenzie. On the Bills. Good young guy. Whoever picks, I'll start him. I don't care.
Let's see what Max says. If he responds to us in the next couple minutes. But he said Smith.
He said Smith?
Devontae Smith.
All right, shout out to my Eagles fans out there. I'm going Smith.
He's locking in Smith.
Smith's locked in this week.
Thanks for the help.
If you let me down, I'm not doing this next week. I'm not coming back.
He's not coming back. No, I have faith. We'll see what happens. I think that both going to be we're spoiled. We got 2 Monday night games. I'm excited to watch. Excited. Go home. I'm going to hustle home after this.
Let's go, Judge. 63 home runs. Break the record.
Now we're talking baseball.
Let's go, Judge.
Let's go, Aaron Judge. Thanks for having us. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back every Monday, 4 to 5, talking football, talking New York sports, whatever you guys want to hear. Thanks, Niko, for coming in today. Awesome job.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Boom.